Thank you, Becca. I'm delighted to be here. How's everybody doing today? Oh, okay. Sam, you're a tough act to follow. What can I say? You know genius when you see it. And I can tell you, as a 9-year mentor at the Nashville EC, this man's going to do great things. So I highly recommend checking it out online. Go down there. I know you're just a hop, skip, and a jump away, but they're doing great things just like today. And Becca, I'm so proud of all of you at Spring Hill. After listening to my bio, I realized I'm civil. So I have done a lot of things. But doing a lot of things is very much a part of being a mentor. And I'm here to represent the Mentor Nation. Everybody needs mentors, and I'm very passionate about it. I've done it most of my life. I used to think I was a weirdo because I was an entrepreneur and I never knew what that was. But when I went to the EC the first time, actually when I first heard Marcus Whitney speak at a talk about entrepreneurship, I said, it's like going to Disney World. It's like, whoa, I want to do that. I like that. That's me. I found my tribe. You know, now we call things tribes and all kinds. We have fancy names for everything. But the bottom line is that mentors help people. And it's a great system to pay it forward and reach back and share your knowledge. So we're going to talk about that because mentorship is really, really a key part of innovation and business and people and all the things that you all do every day. You just didn't know that, did you? Sam did an excellent job of explaining how innovation has grown, how small businesses have grown, how Spring Hill has grown. And according to a Techstars survey that they did last year, here's some more statistics for you. As of May 2024, the United States had 1 million startups. 1 million startups. Isn't that crazy? That means, theoretically, there are 2 million mentors. I'd like to meet some of those people. I bet they're really interesting. There are also 31.7 million small businesses. Many of you might be small business owners or have had multiple businesses. You didn't know that you were an entrepreneur if you had a small business, did you? Well, you are. My grandfather was an entrepreneur. He had an 8th grade education. And he lost his father at a young age, and he was one of 8 kids. Well, back in those days, if you didn't have a father, guess what the kids did? The kids went to work. In the South, they worked on the farm. In New York, where I come from, the land up there, New York, very good accent, you had to go find something, right? There was no Social Security, there was no welfare, there was no anything. You know, the saying, you eat what you kill, well, same thing in New York. You had to figure out a way to make it work. So my grandfather started selling pickles out of a barrel down on the Lower East Side and in Brooklyn. And he and his brothers, you know, kept doing things like this. My grandfather had an 8th grade education, and it's because he had to work. That story is so familiar all over our great nation, and as a result, we have a lot of really great and interesting stories to tell about entrepreneurs. My grandfather and his brothers went on to have a seat on the New York Stock Exchange. He didn't go to college. He didn't have a business degree. He didn't know the fancy people like John D. Rockefeller and the other people who were, you know, blowing up the United States with their robber baron inventions, the railroads, the steel companies, and all of that. He just knew he had to put food on the table, and they divided up their duties. You know, he was the business guy. My other uncle, great uncle, he was the schmoozer. He was the connector. That's what I do. And the third guy was the accountant. Uncle Tom was the accountant. So right there, a million years ago, you have the basis for a small business. They didn't know they were entrepreneurs. They just knew they had to keep it going. You know, my grandfather used to tell my father, guess what? We had a good year. You're going to get to go to school again. And I think that's what entrepreneurs do. And they hope. They move into the future with no guarantee that they're going to be able to move into the future. They might have to move out of the future and go back to that job. But if they have a mentor, everything can change. So, today, it's pretty much essential that you have a mentor if you want to start a new business and you want to move out of your predictable life. I won't say boring life, but predictable. I've never been predictable, much to my husband's chagrin. But the term mentor is often bandied about like a badminton shuttlecock. Oh, you need this mentor, that person, da. Well, a lot of people, you'd be surprised, have no idea or concept what that term means. What does it mean? What is a mentor? It sounds like Mentos, the little candy you see at the checkout line at the grocery store, and you go, I want a little something, but it's not that. So, how do you describe a mentor and why you need one? Well, let's take on a little journey. Imagine that you've decided that you're going to go up a treacherous, famous mountain. You've wanted to do it for years, but you say, you know what, that's really hard. I don't know if I'm up to that. Do I really know something about mountain climbing? Nah. I'm going to do my vacation and my weekends, do different things that are not, scary. But one day, you decide, I'm going to do it. It's the time. I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to climb that damn mountain. And you get yourself ready, you read about it, you get in your car, you drive to wherever the big, tall, scary mountain is, and you realize that it's like the Empire State Building. It's way bigger than you ever thought it was. It's really scary. But you say, okay, suck it up, you gotta do this. You said you would, you've wanted to do this all the time, and you start on the trail. Well, you see other people around, and they're hiking, and they seem to know what they're doing. You go, oh, I got this, I'm going right up that mountain, and it's gonna be so great when I get to work on Monday, and I tell everybody how I'm this badass mountain climber, and look what I did. And the further you go, the fewer people you see, and there's scary rocks and crevices and all kinds of things, and the trail kind of wanders off into the woods, and you go, uh-oh, I have no idea where I am, but what's even more scary, I have no idea what I'm doing. So how am I going to get there? Well, eventually, you just go and you do, and you stumble a few times, you skin your knee, it's still summer, so, you got shorts on, and you get tired. The further up you get, the more the people drop out, and it's really quiet. You can hear the wind. You can also hear the voice in your head saying, whatever made you think you could do this? You're not in good enough shape. Why are you on this mountain anyway? What possessed you to do this? Just go back to work and go on doing what you're doing. And you say, no, I can't go home and tell my spouse that I'm a complete chicken, you know what, and you keep going. Gets later, and later. You're still trudging on. By now, you're so worn out, you don't even know who you are. You just want to get off that mountain. And eventually, you do. Get in your car, you have this huge sigh of relief, and you say, I did it. I didn't think I could, but thank God I didn't kill myself. Well, what if you had started that journey with an experienced guide? Someone that knew all the nuances of that crazy, scary mountain. Somebody that knew just how to climb, when to stop and rest, how to navigate the rocks, how to, identify poisonous things on the trail, all of the things that could harm you. If you could go around that boulder instead of trying to climb it, if you could find some place that wasn't really deep to cross the stream that you didn't know was there, but you saw a pretty waterfall, it would have made all the difference in the world, wouldn't it? Somebody that had done this journey, somebody that had that experience, somebody that wasn't afraid of what lies ahead, because they've been there, they've done it. And that's what mentors are, been there, done that people. And you all know them, they're everywhere around you, but you probably never stop to think why that could be the linchpin of your success as a founder, small business owner. It's really crazy. You don't know what you don't know, right? And I wish I could count the times when I thought in my various and assorted businesses over the years that I really knew what I was doing. Well, I really didn't. But you put on a good face, you go forward, and you persevere, right? You take the money out of the savings account, you kind of tell yourself, I'm not really spending money, it's all gonna work out, it's great. And you see your friends and go into work, and I got this side hustle, and I got this really great idea. Well, how's it going? Oh, great. Meanwhile, you're going, even to move this thing forward, I gotta find some money. I gotta find some people to sell it to. And I'm really, I'm in a pickle. Well, a mentor could help you with that. These experts, they got it. They got your back. They're there to listen to you. They're there to hear your sob stories of why you're just lost or feeling depressed or whatever. They know that. They've done it. They felt it. So a mentor can be that helping hand. It can be that advisor. It can be that honest person who tells you what you really don't need or want to hear, but you gotta hear it. Sam mentioned innovators. Oh, I forgot my slides here. That's what happens when you talk. Okay. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn. Those words were spoken by Benjamin Franklin, who is one of our founding fathers and one of the original OG innovators. You all know what he did, what he created, pretty smart man. I'm doing the wrong thing, I'm sorry. So, even the best and the brightest people that may have accomplished, they've had a business before, but they want to do something different. Even those people want to try new things. And even though they have experience, they still need somebody to help them. It's a team sport, folks. Entrepreneurship is a team sport. And if you want to play, you gotta have the right people on the team, right? So we all know about certain people that have been revolutionary in their dreams and their visions. And, everything sort of changed when the man in black showed up. And I don't mean Johnny Cash. You all know who I'm talking about, right? Steve, little Stevie. Little Stevie was a 21-year-old college dropout. And he started his business in his parents' garage. We all know the story, right? He and Steve Wozniak, and the Zen guy, and he wanted to change the world. He wanted to make small computers for people to have. Well, you can imagine this guy, kind of hairy, kind of radical, very different from people that business owners were used to seeing. He wanted to do something. He wanted to do something nobody had really thought about before. And he modeled his entire business after this guy that he really was obsessed with. And the man's name was Edwin Land. I didn't know that name, but the guy founded Polaroid and the Polaroid computer and instant photography. So Jobs followed this man and his career, and he mapped out, he kept up with the innovations this man was doing. He kept up with the business. He kept up with how are the consumers reacting? And he modeled his business after Mr. Land. They eventually became friends and were friends until they died, both of them. Mr. Land died first, but do you think that Jobs had a mentor? He was kind of an ornery guy, wasn't he? I mean, he's always portrayed as this guy that if you saw him in the elevator and you spoke to him and he didn't like what you asked him, you might get shut down or you might get fired. And he had a mentor. His name was Mike Mikula. And this man had made a lot of money investing in big tech. So he retired at 33 and became a mentor. But in those days it was called the startup consultant. So he took $250,000 of his own money and invested it while Wozniak and Jobs were still in their garage making things. He believed in them. He believed in the idea, and he went on to help them create a business plan, to set some goals, to have the hard conversations. And eventually he became the second CEO and the chairman. He also owned 26% of the country, so I think his investment paid off. But you see that even the big guys, he revolutionized the world. And at the time that he died in 2011, he had the most valuable company in the world. So we know about him. Did you know Aristotle had a mentor? Yeah, Socrates mentored Plato, who then went on to mentor Aristotle. That was in 400 BC. Through time and time again, successful people have had mentors. Some of them have become lifelong friends, some of them have moved on, but it's a cycle, and it's a critical part of the ecosystem. Because without mentors, you can fall flat on your face, you can lose all your investment and other people's money, which is not really a fun thing. So what are you going to do? Where do you find one? Well, the mentors are all around you, folks. They're sitting in your child's classroom at school, or you meet them at the parents' hour. They're in your church Bible study group, or they're at the gym, like Sam mentioned, Do you play sports? Are you on a team? Maybe the guy that, you're doing tandem halfback things with in soccer, maybe at the water cooler or the, Gatorade break, you find out what he's doing. Your neighbors. Everywhere you look are people who are experienced at something, and they want to help you. So what do you need to do as someone looking for a mentor? Well, you need to be humble. You need to be honest. You gotta really get clear on what you want, where you are, good and bad, and you have to be curious. All entrepreneurs are curious, Georgia and Inspector Gadgets. They love to learn, they love to solve problems, and that's why they take risk. That's why they start businesses. So, before you find a mentor, you need to get on the Google, your best friend, and start researching who are the people that I need to talk to? Who are the people in my space? Who's done this before? Who could help me? And where do I find them? Well, we talked about that, but you can also go to the EC, the Spring Hill Chamber of Commerce. You can go to Vanderbilt, the Wondery. They're all around you. You can look online. You can go on LinkedIn. You can join LinkedIn groups, even if you're out in Spring Hill. Let me tell you something about Spring Hill to end this. Spring Hill is one of the faces of innovation. In 1985, GM came down here and made a decision to put an automotive plant here. It was called Saturn. And people were like, what? Where the hell is Tennessee? We've never heard of this place. And you know what? It brought innovation to Spring Hill. It put Spring Hill on the map. It brought engineers and scientists and line people, and it provided jobs. It provided innovation, even up until when the Saturn plant closed and it transitioned into GM. Spring Hill was on the map. Might be the reason that LeBron James named his consulting company Spring Hill Consulting. And to our great sponsors point earlier, Nashville has a unicorn. It's called Built Technologies. And they revolutionized construction lending for them. Chase Gilbert and his two co-founders, Scott Swore and Alex Swore, they had mentors. They wanted to find a problem. They wanted to solve a problem. And they went and they talked to people who had done it before. And little by little, they built a platform, a software platform that would help people. And it's never been the same since. So, what I'd like to leave you with is be fearless. You deserve a mentor. Go find one. They're all around you. But most of all, you gotta believe in yourself and believe that you deserve to have a mentor, because you do. And we believe in you. And we're waiting to help you turn your vision and your dreams into your goal of success, with all the good, bad, and the ugly that comes along with it. Thank you for your time.